Hi, I'm Sophie and welcome to my world. You know, I get a lot of requests for projects, and one of the ones that has been most frequently asked for is a locker pocket. And so I love recycling crafts, and so I thought it might be kind of fun to take that notion of making a pocket for your locker out of a real pocket. So this is a pocket from a pair of old blue jeans, pair of overalls that I had that I no longer needed, and I've turned it into a magnetic locker pocket. Here's some more examples that I want to show you. And you can see that I've taken some of my favorite jeans and turned them into locker pockets. And you can keep all of your pens, your supplies, your notes, photographs, anything that you want in your pocket. And the best thing about them is because they're magnetic, they'll stick in your metal locker. Now, if you don't have a metal locker, you can also design them in this way using the belt loops, and then you could put that on a hook. For this project, you're going to need an old pair of jeans. Old pair of jeans is really important. Make sure it has pockets. You're going to need some cardboard. I've got a lightweight cardboard here. This is just from a cereal box. You can use a heavier weight cardboard if you want, as long as you can cut through it. That's the most important thing. I'm going to be using scissors for my cutting today. Make sure you have a good sharp pair of scissors, because when you're cutting fabric, a dull pair of scissors is going to make your job very, very annoying. And then you're going to need a pen of sorts. I've got a Sharpie pen here. Then you're going to need magnets. Now, I've become very fond of using stronger magnets. These magnets that I have right here, these are what we call, they're business card magnets that you can get at like a sort of like a Staples or a office supply store, I guess you would call it. And these have a sticky back. And they're good, but they're not real strong. And so what I've actually started to do is actually go to dollar stores and get these refrigerator magnet sets. And usually for $1, you can get like 6 or 7 of these or 8 of them in a set. And they have a pretty good pull to them. You want something that's going to have a little strength to it, because you're going to put this in your locker, and if you're putting it in a metal locker, you want it to really stick so that it doesn't go sliding down. So these will work, but they're not as good as a strong ceramic magnet. And like I said, you can usually find these at dollar stores. And then you're going to want embellishments. Now, you can use everything from puffy paints to, I've got some beads here, I've got some jewels here. You'll of course want a glue gun or some jewel glue if you're going to be doing this sort of embellishing. Right now I'm just going to show you how to do the basics. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your jeans and you're going to want to cut out the pocket area. So what I did basically was I took these jeans and I just cut up the leg and then just cut it out right in here. You can see where the pocket used to be. I just cut it right on out to make it nice and easy. I didn't worry about getting close to the pocket at this point in time. I just cut out the pocket. Now what I'm going to do is move this off to the side. Now I'm going to use this cardboard here. I would like this cardboard to be nice and sturdy. So I'm going to actually open this up here along this side. Oh my, this is some serious glue here. Okay. All right. And for my pocket, I'm not going to need more than one side here, so I'm just going to trim this. Cereal boxes are great because they're, they've got a nice, easy cutability and they're pretty sturdy. But if you want to use a heavier weight, you can. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to size up my pocket here and make sure that it fits. And then I'm going to flip it over here. And as you can see where the stitching is for my pocket. And I'm going to cut this pocket out right up to the pocket. And now this is why I said using a good pair of scissors, because if you've got a dull pair of scissors, just makes cutting this out so hard. You can use your scissors and just guide it along by that edge of your pocket. And you can see I'm cutting through the outside edge. I'm not cutting through the pocket itself. I'm cutting through the outside edge of that jean material. And then I'm going to cut the top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that on there, make sure it fits nice and solid, find the best way that it fits. This way I ended up on that edging. I want to make sure that I have a nice solid back, so you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do it this direction because I can make sure that I get my whole pocket on there. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue, and again, you can use any kind of glue that you want. I'm going to be using hot glue here. Just remember, if you're using hot glue, always make sure you use it safely. Okay, I'm going to come around the edge, all around the edge, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to put some stripes of glue. And now what I'm going to do to make this easier is instead of flipping this over and risking myself getting burned, I'm actually going to just take the back of my cardboard and I'm just going to place it right on top. There we go. And just going to rub it in place there. And then I'm going to come back with my scissors and I'm just going to cut right around the edge, as close as I can. Now the reason that I'm using this cardboard is just to give it a little sturdy strength, because jeans tend to be kind of floppy. And if I'm going to use this in my locker as a pocket, I want to make sure that it's sturdy enough to hold all my stuff. So I'm going to come around and I'm just cutting. Again, you can see I'm just cutting right to that edge. There it is, and that's my pocket all ready for my locker. So see, I can already put stuff in here. Now, if you want to, at this point in time, you know, you could even, if you wanted to, you could glue this to anything if you wanted. You could glue this to a notebook if you wanted to have a pocket on a notebook. I mean, really, it could go anywhere you wanted. Okay, I'm going to flip it over now. This is where we're going to make it so that it'll stick to your locker. And I'm going to be using these magnets, and I'm just going to be gluing them to the back like that. However, if you wanted to, you could cover the entire back with these self-sticking magnet sheets. Again, the problem with the self-sticking magnet sheets that I find is that they're just not that strong. But you could cover the entire back like that with these magnet sheets. You can also find this kind of stuff at Michael's, like arts and crafts stores. They have actual big full sheets of it that you can use. And the way this works is this just has a sticky back. You just peel that off and then that would just stick right there. But I'm actually going to be using these ceramic magnets because they're a little sturdier and they're going to hold a little better. So I'm just going to glue one here and one here and one here. So a little bit strength here, here, here. And if you've got an extra one, if you've got a bunch of them, I mean, you know, the more the merrier, right? You just want to make sure that they're all about the same height, because if one is higher than the other, then you're not going to get a good, secure sticking. There we go. And now you just get to decorate it any way you want. And you know, you can use jewels that you could. This is like a necklace that was cut into little pieces. You can just take that and you could glue that into different shapes if you wanted to. You could use jewels, glue them into a pattern. You could use the puffy paint. I mean, you can see, you can really, really, really go to town and have as much fun as you want. And that's all there is to it for turning a pair of jeans into a pocket locker, something that can hold all your supplies at school. And if you're so inclined, and you might have a pair of overalls like me lying around that you don't need anymore, you can always make one of these. For more crafty ideas for your locker from recycled materials, come and check us out at Sophie-World.com.